My name is Jem Uchan, and I'm an Innovation Product Manager for Baker McKenzie.
And I am Angela Cairn, Senior Manager in Practice Group Solutions.
Over the course of the next 12 minutes, we will walk you through everything we know about adoption.
Our role centres around providing our lawyers with the best tools available and dedicated to implementing innovative solutions to elevate their capabilities and enhance overall performance. Against our best efforts, there's a pressing issue we can't ignore. A considerable number of our licensed and in-house solutions consistently fall short of meeting our adoption goals. Why? This key question invites us to rethink our methods and identify the main causes impeding our adoption goals from being achieved.
Well, there are many possible reasons, or rather excuses, that we often hear. Some of them are on this slide. The first one is lawyers are resistant to change. This is a common stereotype that portrays lawyers as conservative, traditional, and risk-averse. We think this is unfair towards lawyers. Most humans have this inherent inertia and distrust against change. Another one is our lawyers are too busy to adopt new technologies. A third one is our firm's culture is not hospitable to change. This is a more systemic excuse that points to the organizational and institutional barriers that may hinder innovation. Bonus points for a quote about culture eating strategy for breakfast. Another one is pressure to bill time is preventing our attorneys from engaging with tech. This is a more subtle excuse that reflects the underlying incentive structure of the legal profession. Lawyers are rewarded for the amount of time they spend on a case, not for the value they deliver or the outcome they achieve. The final box is designated for the most recent reason/excuse you've come across. If you have encountered a good one lately, share it in the chat for others to see as well.
So what have we tried and failed? What we are sharing here encapsulates years of trial and error, distilling the standout areas that have proven effective for us. These highlights represent our ongoing journey, a dynamic, evolving process rather than an exhaustive list. So starting with taking those bold actions of kicking down the doors to signal urgency and compel that change within the organisation.
The level of urgency we need cannot be achieved with incremental tech developments. The threat should be existential to the firm to generate the urgency we need. We are seeing more of this with Gen AI, but this is hardly applicable to your everyday transaction management or e-billing platform.
So what about our communicating strategy of employing those casual settings like tea time discussions to effectively convey those ideas and build that collective agreement?
Yeah, this is great in creating consensus, but we have to be deliberate in our interactions with our populations. Otherwise, we will waste time and resources. For context, Baker McKenzie has a headcount of 13,000. That's a lot of T's. We need to be very specific in our targeting and what we want when we are interacting with our attorneys.
So securing that senior partner endorsement to drive the organizational tone and the commitment.
This principle is relevant to companies with a clear chain of command and leadership structure. Law firm partners operate as semi-autonomous business units. In all successful digital business transformations, CEO of the company, not even the vice president, the CEO commits and personally takes charge of the change effort. Otherwise, it does not work. You can see how this is different than a managing partner or a senior partner putting their approval on legal tech, but delegating the adoption effort to others.
Showcasing our success stories. We're using those appealing success stories as the promotional tools to encourage that broader adoption.
Success stories are great in generating exposure. Everybody loves them. However, most attorneys still require well-known and trusted colleagues' positive recommendation before testing a product. In and of itself, they're not enough. Neither are trainings.
And a personal favourite of mine is using those regional meetings to present interactive showcases of our legal tech portfolio. Our perception is that we'll immediately start using the technology as soon as they return to the office.
Unfortunately, that is not the case. This is similar to the one above. Vast majority of the population cannot be convinced to test or adopt a legal tech product based off of a conversation with you as in a non-attorney tech person who they don't know and don't trust. So what has worked for us so far?
What has worked? So we focused our efforts on top income generating practice groups. And within those, we targeted the low profit. We specifically targeted the low profit practice groups. Our aim was to prioritize teams with a high revenue but low profitability, as they have the most significant potential to positively influence the firm's bottom line. The low profit practice groups are also more inclined to experiment technology, as they already have a strong motivation to enhance their profitability.
Yeah, and once we know our target group, we next focus on a product. We should not throw technology at a problem. We should go people, process, tech. But even when we know we need to deploy tech, not all tech are created equal. Some spread better than others. Where possible, we opt for technologies with a high adoption rate and a broad usage in the industry. Bill Henderson has a worksheet on how we can grade a product's potential for widespread adoption. You can find the worksheet in the slide deck together with its source. The worksheet assesses a product across metrics like relative advantage, compatibility, complexity, trialability, and observability. It is also great in identifying where you need to focus to reduce barriers to adoption. For example, a high learning curve would require training to overcome.
We also identify and connect with those early adopters and innovators who we recognise by their inclination to embrace the new technologies.
Yeah, one of the most frequent questions we get asked is, how do you identify an innovator? You can tell a person is an innovator when they do not require any convincing on your part to try out new technologies. It doesn't matter how busy they are, they use their personal time to test technology. This is fun and meaningful to them. You can see a spark of joy in their eyes when you show them a product. In a practice group of 100 person, there will only be 2 innovators. Conversely, if you're getting responses like who else is using it, or we don't have time now, or we'll look at this once this project closes, you are speaking to either a pragmatist or a conservative, and you are wasting your time. You need to conserve energy and move on to the next person.
We acknowledge the value of early adopters and innovators and continually extend additional care and support to nurture those contributions. You need to be responsive and offer your early testers perfect service to ensure they adopt the product. You need to be attentive to their feedback, and it is also important to give them a voice in those product-related in the decision-making processes.
And once we have activated our innovators, in other words, our allies and change agents in the practice group, we should seek to leverage their influence in the organization to break into the mainstream. We need what we call a super spreading event. The way we structured that is we need a senior associate or a partner, essentially someone with influence from the practice group, walk their colleagues through their personal experience of using the platform. It works best if this is face-to-face, but we have seen it be effective on Zoom or Teams meetings. Attorneys from other offices that use the product are also very effective if you do not have a local user, as long as they are in the same practice group. One convinced person per office is more than enough for generating good adoption across the globe. You will see that the results from this will be very different than you or your team carrying out training sessions or other adoption efforts. You may have additional questions on why we focus only on innovators and early adopters. On that, we refer you to Jayam's slide here and her source material on the Legal Evolution blog. This explains why we target specific demographics at specific phases. And on how to assess your product, this is the worksheet we previously discussed to assess products' widespread adoption potential. This will be in the slide deck together with this resource as well. So what can you do differently tomorrow?
What can you do differently? What are the actionable steps and transformative strategies that you can embrace starting from tomorrow to enhance the outcomes, redefine your approach, and unlock those new possibilities? So target audience. Your current strategy may involve mass targeting, aiming to reach the wide audience in the hope that something resonates and gains traction. Hopefully tomorrow, you will focus only on the target practice groups and innovators within those practice groups. With your use cases, today, as all good technologies should do, you're looking at use cases and end user pain points. Tomorrow, you can add a product diffusion potential into your framework when improving adoption or considering onboarding a new product. Finally, putting all these learnings together, our recommended game plan for you is to target your innovators, creating those super spreading events and get your innovators talking to the rest of the practice group to make that peer-to-peer adoption recommendations.
Thank you very much for your time, and we are open to any questions you may have. Thanks.